Hello everyone and welcome back to TripToGo info session. At TripToGo, we're working on building a stronger understanding of the cruise industry, and our guest today is AmaWaterways, which stands out as a leader in river cruising. Today we will be talking with Neil Dudley. He's the Business Development Manager for AmaWaterways, and we're going to learn more about their story, their product, and how they deliver unique experiences for our clients. So welcome. We're building here at TripToGo a lot of expertise for cruises, and today we'd like to explore what AMA has to offer for our clients. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're gonna talk a little bit about everything. AMA is definitely one of the leaders in river cruising. Could you share a little bit of its story? Where does AMA come from? What does it represent?
Yeah, of course. So AmaWaterways was founded just over 23 years ago by two main families out of Europe and actually out of Ireland and Australia as well. So they came together because they really had a love and passion for river cruising. And one of our owners, Rudy Schreiner, is actually the architect and designer of every single one of our ships. And the history for us is that he actually worked for two other river cruise lines before starting AMA. And he actually built and designed their ships and really wanted to bring a luxury feel because he didn't feel that that was what was going on there. So they branched out and decided to make their own company and go into that luxury river cruise market and really make sure that they're catering towards the destinations we're traveling to. So.
Okay, so it's a family business, yes. Basically, lots of love there.
Yes, and we only do river cruising. That's their sole focus, that's their passion. We don't do coach touring, we don't do ocean cruising, we are just focused on river cruising. New destinations, new itineraries, new products all the time. So
for a traveler on AMA, if after a cruise or multiple cruises, you would ask them to describe the experience, what do you think they would say?
I pretty much know. They'll always say that they feel like they're part of the AMA family, and that's what we do. It's the service is key for us. What I love is that when people come to work for AmaWaterways, they don't tend to leave. So we've got, as we've been around for 23 years, started with two ships. We've actually got the original captains, the original cruise managers that started, and there's actually waiting lists for people to come work for AMA because it is a family company. They're passionate. They want to make sure that they are providing a rewarding experience for the guests, but also for the people who work for us as well. So,
great. AMA describes its ships as boutique hotels on the river. What does that mean in practical terms, and how do the ships reflect that description?
So we started in Europe, and obviously when you're in Europe river cruising, your ships can only be a certain size. You have low bridges and locks to go through. So it's really about being able to provide that experience on board, which is different and unique. So we went for a boutique experience, having an average of 155 guests on board our ships, whereas some of the others may have 180 to 190. So it's less space. We were more concerned with making sure that guests felt like they were at home on our ship. So comfortable lounges, multiple restaurants, again, areas they can go relax, same with the cabins and such. When we branched out to our exotics, it's a little different because we don't have the same low bridges or locks to go through, but we've made those all even smaller. So, our ships on the exotics range from 28 guests up to 124 guests. So again, much more of a boutique feel when you're on board those as well. So,
okay, and how does that compare again to other river cruise lines?
Well, in Europe, river cruising is exactly like ocean cruising. You've got 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star brands, and it comes down to what's included, size of your cabins, and if there's optional tours. So that's why we're a 5-star, because everything's included for us. Fewer guests, more public space, larger cabins, and multiple restaurants and stuff for guests to choose from.
When we talk about river cruising in Europe, Africa, or now we were talking just about Colombia, how do you adapt your design to each specific region, and what does that mean for the experience?
Yeah, so when we do any of our river cruises, we want it to be a fully immersive experience into the destination. We don't want to just be bringing a ship and taking you to areas. We want to make sure that experience is the same on and off the ship. So the decor on all of our ships will match to the area. So whether it's European, whether it's Southeast Asian, or our newest destination, which is Colombian, it's Colombian designed and stuff on board our ships. That goes with the cuisine as well, and staffing, again, because again, we want that fully immersive experience, not just a regular tour. we want them to experience the culture, the wildlife, the musical experiences, if that area is known for that. So
I was just saying that the design, the interior design for the Ama Magdalena, for example, was done with local craftsmen and artisans.
Yeah,
that's really beautiful. That's the case?
That's the case. Every destination we do. Specifically for Colombia, obviously we went down. We had our the gentleman who was running our program and starting it up sourced out to all the local areas for the music on board. So the entertainment is locally themed to bring that experience. Same thing with the decor, the bedding, absolutely everything in there. So you really feel like you're actually in a Colombian designed area when you're on board our ship. So. And
you have the twin balcony feature also.
Yeah, that was a great little thing that Rudy did back in the day. Again, based on the European designs where we wanted to bring a balcony experience because on a river cruise, you're always within sight of land. So the balconies are heavily accessed, but you can't control the weather. So we have a matching mirrored indoor and outdoor balcony so that guests, no matter what the weather, always have that balcony experience. So.
Great. What kind of traveler, what's the crowd that's gravitating toward like the more traditional European cruising and these new itineraries in Colombia or of the Mekong?
Yeah, so we've got a bit of a unique setup. I think a lot of times people traditionally think river cruising is for older people. They often think I'm not old enough to do a river cruise, or I'm going to be bored, or the cabins are too small. But the way we've designed our programs is we've got regular pace and more active pace. We've got bikes on board in Europe and such for guests to use. So guided hiking, guided cycling. So the average age of our guests are people in their 30s, all the people in their 80s and 90s. With the exotics, specifically Colombia, we do find it skews a little younger. That tends to be the case with a lot of the exotics, but honestly, guests of all ages can go on. We even have, with the design of the twin balcony ships, the design was that we could actually do triple accommodation aimed at multi-generational travelers. Now, we don't have anything specifically set up for children. We don't have children's rates and stuff, but as families with kids getting older, in the teens and stuff, who are going to appreciate our kind of tours, then they can actually bring their children on and get triple accommodations, which is unique to AmaWaterways too.
Is there a minimum age for those kids?
So technically there is on the exotics, it's 12 years old. But again, what we find when we have children on board, they tend to be the 15, 16 or older because they're the ones who are going to appreciate the tours that we have versus maybe the younger kids looking for other kids and stuff like that. It's not obviously something that happens a lot. So you have to have those kids that are going to appreciate what we have to offer. So.
Okay, perfect. Walk me through a day on board for a cruiser. Like, how does it go morning through evening?
So basically, we are on all river cruises, no matter where you are. You generally arrive into port around breakfast, stay right through till dinner. Sometimes late nights and overnights in certain ports of call. So there's tours included every single day. The cruise manager will obviously let the guests know whether it's a half day, whether it's a full day tour. Or for instance, in Colombia, we will do some days where it's split touring. So basically in the morning, you'll have a tour, you're back on board the ship in time for lunch, and we're gonna sail to the next destination. Because in Colombia, there's some smaller towns and villages, obviously along the Magdalena, which means basically there's one main thing to do. It's not gonna take a lot of time, but we still wanna provide a full day of touring. So oftentimes it will be split touring, where we'll stop in one town and move on to the next, or do some of the wildlife cruising as well during the day. So
yeah, and there's just sip and sail also happens in many itineraries.
Yeah, so generally we're always aiming to have guests on board for all of the meals. So that, again, their meals are always included. So we design the tours accordingly. So they're usually back on board the ship, an hour or two before dinner or before lunch. In the afternoon, we have sip and sail, which is, it's like a happy hour. So it's unlimited drinks leading right up till dinner begins. So.
Okay, you just mentioned like twice the cruise managers.
Yeah.
What are cruise managers? Can you explain it to?
Yeah, so cruise managers are the hosts on board. They are there for your entire experience. They even are there for the pre and post packages with us. It's an AMA employee who basically is there to take care of your every need, tell you about the tours that are included, go through the daily itineraries and such. But it's basically our host on board. So
like a concierge.
Absolutely.
Like your personal concierge.
You got it.
I see that they also are with the clients for the pre and post itineraries extensions. So
yeah, that's really important to us. We will make sure that the guests are taken care of by somebody from AmaWaterways at all times. So you might see other river cruise lines where they'll do the pre and post packages, but it's local guide. So they might have a city tour and the guide meets them at the hotel, and then another tour, it's a different guide. There's no continuity or flow. And for our owners, we want to make sure that from beginning to end, it's all the AMA experience.
So the moment you land for your pre-tour
Yep.
days, and there's someone there waiting for you that's gonna be with you
The entire time.
all the way through the end.
You got it. Yep, fully escorted on land and on the river, so.
About the onboard experience, you were talking about meals are included and dining. It seems to be like dining is a big part of your brand.
It is.
How do you weave the local cuisines and the local gastronomy into the AMA experience?
So we always work with the local chefs to make sure that our menu is designed accordingly to always have, and we even try to change it up so that every area, even though you can say, oh, this is Colombian food, but food on to the Mompox Island is very different to some of the local foods that you'll find in Barranquilla or over to Cartagena. So we've actually themed the menus to really even be that localized as far as what we can offer the guests so they get that full culinary experience. For those who maybe look going, I'm not sure, we always have standard international food that is available for order as well. But again, we just want to make sure that guests are getting that full authentic experience. The wines, everything is all, sourced and from the areas as well. So whenever we can.
Okay, so if you don't want to be too much into new things, you just want to stick to your
Exactly. Yeah. If you don't want to be a bit, I agree.
ways, you still have options.
Like we have when guests are in our programs in Southeast Asia. Asian foods are spectacular, but maybe it's not for everybody. So we always will have options for either or for the guests, but we want to make sure that the opportunity is there for all of our guests to experience local cuisine at all times.
Okay, and can you accommodate any kind of dietary requirements or allergies?
Yeah, absolutely. I will say almost anything. Kosher is a little tougher to do, but for the most part, any sort of dietary restrictions we can handle with ease and stuff, and they'll create an equally impressive array of meals with those specific dietary needs in mind.
So we were talking about what's included in your fare.
Yeah, pretty much everything. So
pretty much everything.
yeah, the cruise is obviously included, all the meals, all the drinks with all of the meals, whatever they brought on board, which they can do with AmaWaterways. All the tours are included. We have no optional excursions. So essentially, the only thing that's really not included will be the airfares, which obviously, TripToGo can handle that with no problem at all. They can help that. We can assist with air, but yeah, that would be the only thing in the upfront price. We don't include drinks in the lounge after dinner. And the design was that we have, instead of going as an all-inclusive experience when it comes to that, we have some guests who enjoy a glass of wine with dinner, but that's it. So then you get those guests going, I feel like I'm paying for an all-inclusive experience when I'm only having a drink, or those who don't drink. But like I said, we've got our workaround because you can bring on board whatever you like. You can bring drinks from the dining room to the lounge after dinner. It's not a problem for us. So we want everybody to enjoy their experience how they wish to do so.
How do you compare that kind of inclusivity with an ocean cruise, for example?
So if we're talking about an all-inclusive ocean experience where everything's in, essentially we are pretty much there as well. Like I said, the only thing we don't include are drinks in the lounge after dinner. Currently, gratuities are the only other thing that are extra, but coming in 2027, they will be all included as well. So those are pretty much the only two things. Otherwise, it is pretty much an all-inclusive experience. So.
How do gratuities work? Do you pay like a lump sum?
No,
that's
you do not.
added
So,
to, or you go as you go?
So ocean cruises, a lot of times, if they don't include them, it's automatically added to your bill at the end of the cruise. We do not do that. Our owners wanted you to make sure that you are getting that 5-star authentic experience, and you tip accordingly. So the cruise manager will say, listen, this is what generally people do, and if you want to do that, you can certainly do that, but it is honestly up to the guests as to what the service they feel, just like they're going to a restaurant. And they tip at the end of the week. But like I said, the cruise manager goes through all of that as to how it's done. Or the other option is that you can prepay your gratuities with TripToGo, with your TripToGo advisor beforehand. If you want to just take care of it in whether that's Canadian or US currency, you can prepay them, and then you don't even have to worry about it when you're on board. So
Okay. The other thing that it's included is shore excursions. Tell us about those.
So shore excursions are always included with us. When we get some larger cities and towns, where there's more than one thing to see and do, we'll often offer different tours, and they're all included. So whatever the guests want to do, they get to choose their tour. So this is very different to a main ocean cruise where you have all of those different shore excursions. You end up paying for those, whatever you want to do. For us, everything's included and the guests decide what it is they want to do, because we know that not every guest has the same interest. So we want to provide all of those experiences for guests to choose, but they're all included for them. Now, when you come to some of the smaller towns and villages, especially in Colombia, where there's really one thing to see. You want to see the town, there's nothing else. So obviously that's included in the experience, but it's the larger ones where there are options. We will give choices and they're all included, so.
Okay, I see that you have a lot of walking tours, bike tours. Is there like a physical?
We've got different activity levels. So if guests have any sort of mobility issues, we always have gentle pace tours going, meaning that there's slower groups. If there maybe are areas where there be a bit more walking or uneven things, we'll actually take those guests in local transportation to get there as opposed to walking. You've also got on the converse where you've got guests who maybe want to be more active. So we'll have guided hiking, guided cycling experiences to allow for the more active guests. So we've got guests who are in their 30s all the way up to guests in their 80s and 90s, because they all feel that they can do the tours they wish to do, and it's all included with the experience. So
that brings me to another thing, is accessibility on board. For guests with mobility issues, like how do you handle that? Are you fully accessible?
No, we cannot be fully accessible, because with a river cruise ship, there's actually fire regulations and such set down by the different countries. So because river cruise ships are obviously smaller to navigate in and out with your one main hull and stuff, if guests are confined to a wheelchair, it's not an accessible experience. Unfortunately, they do have some walking. It can be limited mobilities. They can use walkers, walking sticks, things like that. It's not a problem. They also need to keep in mind the destination they're going to. So again, best to talk to the TripToGo advisor to see and find out with each destination as to what constraints there may be and what their actual levels are. And we can provide them with what they kind of need to be able to enjoy that experience.
Yeah, in small towns in Colombia, for example, you don't get like paved roads everywhere. So it's,
but we'll always have walking sticks for guests to use. So if they're a bit more unsure of their footing, they've got those for the stability, and it works usually fine for the guests who are a little bit older and maybe just unsure of footing. They can still go have a good time because we provide those on board for guests. So.
And you also provide bikes in Europe.
In Europe, not in Colombia. The only reason for that is exactly how you just said.
The road.
Not everywhere is paved for bikes to be, navigable around. So no, we haven't brought bikes out to a couple of our exotic destinations just for that very reason.
How about entertainment?
So entertainment on board is always locally themed. So again, this will be exclusive to the areas. Barranquilla is a great example. Carnival was invented in Colombia, specifically in Barranquilla. So we actually bring an exclusive Carnival performance just for our guests to enjoy on shore when we're in Barranquilla. Mompoc's known for jazz. So again, we've got jazz performances. We've got Cumbrian music performances. Anywhere we river cruise, our entertainment is always themed to the area that they are known for. So
river cruising by nature is intimate, it's smaller. You don't have those mega ships, and you get direct access to towns, to communities. How do you ensure that impact is positive on these small communities that are not very used to?
Exactly. So when
tourism,
when we started in Europe, it was very important to Europe. We are the only river cruise line who's achieved the Green Award in Europe, and that's very, very difficult. Europe is very big on sustainability. So that just meant our impact was smaller. When we started going to the exotics, we wanted to give back to those areas because, like you said, they're not used to seeing tourism. Some areas have grown. So we started in the Mekong, and portions of every guest's fare was going towards a school that we built to give back to one of the communities. Same thing when we go to Africa, to Egypt, and the same thing in Colombia. We're working with the locals again to give back to the communities where we are as a portion of the fares, because again, we want to make sure that we're not just coming in, but we're actually giving back to the communities as well. So,
and I guess that's passed on. Also, that philosophy is passed on to the clients as well. So
absolutely,
they're aware.
They know
that they're having a positive impact in the community.
Yeah, they know what their fare is going back to, so they're going to see the rewards firsthand. Colombia is the newest destination, so we're working on the various areas right now. But again, that's talked about when they're on board to say, we're working with the local communities, especially the ones. Cities like Cartagena, Barranquilla, they're a bit more of a metropolis. They don't necessarily need the sustainable support from us, but it's areas going down the Magdalena which never see this, and we're able to bring the benefits of tourism and help those communities. So
Yeah, Colombia is also very biodiverse. So one of the things that makes this particular itineraries attractive is Ciénaga and all those natural like hotspots.
Yeah.
So how do you make sure that you're not affecting the environment?
Well,
Like,
we made
what
sure,
features?
we made sure that our ship was small, and we worked with the local tourism boards and such. So we're only bringing 60 guests in at a time. And I think it is respecting the environment, of course, by doing that. You could have made the ships bigger because we don't have such restrictions over on to the Magdalena. So we could have made our ships more like our European ones, but we listened to what the community said and what they wanted, and they liked the idea of 60 guests. And it's very easy for the locals to then know and be off and interacting with the locals and stuff with the 60 guests and making, because a lot of times we're also going off to quintas and little restaurants on shore as opposed to keeping the guests on board, because the locals want to actually entertain and stuff, and they thought that was the optimal number. So.
Do you have a particular story that you would like to share with us? Something that really sums up what AmaWaterways is for a client? Anything that you've heard that you say, oh, this is one for the books?
I'm looking forward to, like, it's a horrible part of my job that they make me go on all these river cruises to experience them. But I've yet to be Colombia because it just started and it's been sold out for the first few months. So I'm going in December, so I'm very much looking forward to that. But I find the exotics are the most impactful. So I remember going to the Mekong, to the school that we built, and the children know that it's AmaWaterways because we bring our guests to that school, and they know that this school is there because of us. So I'm looking forward to Colombia to see what we've got in play, but it's those kinds of things, especially with the exotics, that are always the most impactful for the guests. So
Looking ahead, what trends do you see shaping the future of river cruising in general and AmaWaterways in particular? What's the future?
Well, it's an always growing market because, as probably most people know, the ocean ships have decided to go bigger and bigger and bigger, and you get the 4,000 and 5,000 passengers on board. The majority of these people love cruising. A river cruise ship has anywhere between, well, our smallest is 28 and our most is 196. So guests have done the Caribbean, they've done Alaska, they've done the Med. This is where river cruising has evolved because it's those cruisers are coming over and trying another cruising experience. So for us, being smaller ships, knowing that there's hundreds of thousands of guests who love cruising, who've yet done river cruising, it's something that we see for the foreseeable future, where guests are always going to be able to come, do something that the ocean ships don't provide. So it's a complementary product to the experience. But there's a number of rivers around the world which are, again, yet to be developed for tourism, and our owners are always looking at that. I know we've got 2 or 3 in the foreseeable future, which if I mention them, I probably won't have a job tomorrow, so I won't mention them, but we're always looking for new destinations, new kinds of experiences as well to bring to rivers. So that's the excitement about just working for a company that's focused solely on river cruising and the benefits it can provide to guests. So.
Any innovations coming that you can talk about, like in the next couple months, next year?
If we go to Europe, obviously we've got what we call the world's largest river cruise ship. It's twice as wide as our regular ships.
The AmaMagna,
the AmaMagna, that's right. And it only sails on the Danube, but it was designed for ocean cruisers who look to the world of river cruising thinking they're not going to like a river cruise. There's not going to be enough to do on board like their ocean ships. And that's why he built the AmaMagna. It's got 4 different restaurants on board that are all included. Rooftop heated pool, a hot tub, multiple lounges, private movie theater, a full-size regulation pickleball court. It's got all of the benefits of the ocean cruise over onto a river cruise. And he finally gets his own ship because the second ship, the Ama Rudy, will come out in 27. So they're always looking to innovate, but every ship we go into, even in our exotics, these are ships that never existed down to the area. So yeah, it's just exciting to bring new products and designs to new areas around the world. So.
And actual new ships are coming
Absolutely.
in the next couple of years. How many?
We're going to have 40 ships by the end of 2030. Wow. So Rudy's going to be very, very busy building and designing these ships.
So he designs every single
He designs
ship.
every single ship. He doesn't obviously build them himself, but he does all of the design, and he goes through, make sure that everything is exactly how he foresees it in his design. So.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. This was really great, very insightful. Anything that you would like to, any message that you would like to give to our audience, first-time river cruisers, or anyone that's seeing this?
Well, listen, I look forward to obviously starting to work with TripToGo. It's bringing a new area to your to all of you who maybe have not seen river cruising offered. So we're exciting to be the river cruise provider for TripToGo and looking forward to having all of you on board. So
Great, thank you. Well, Neil, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today. Obviously, AmaWaterways offers more than river cruises. It's just not the ship, the cruise. It's a whole immersive experience, and you can see that, you feel that. So thank you for bringing that energy.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Whether you're dreaming of luxury cruising along the magnificent rivers of Europe, or if you're planning to explore exotic hidden gems around the world, AmaWaterways is pioneering river cruises that bring travelers closer to each destination. Thank you for joining us for this TripToGo info session, and don't forget to follow us for more interviews and travel insights. Until next time.